This is Bear Essentials with Bear Buyers. May was Military Appreciation Month. We want to wrap month up in a big bow. I wanted to start a new program on June called Tactics and Strategy in Division 2. But first, let's explore some of the real world tactics as we wrapped up one last shot at a Military Appreciation Month. We're going to talk about Mount Tokugar and Roberts Ridge. In 2002, the intelligence community discovered a mountain that was pretty well overseen a strategic valley in Afghanistan. They sent in 2 Chinook helicopters to take the top of the mountain and to put combat controllers in place up there so that they could call in airstrikes in the Taliban in the valley below. But the intelligence was wrong. The mountain wasn't empty. And upon assaulting the mountain, they took fire from the ground and was hit. That one of the Chinooks was hit by an RPG. As the plane lurched to and fro to try to stay in the air, one of the SEALs was jettisoned from the aircraft out the back hatch, out the ramp. His name was Roberts. He fell to his death. The plane was not able to stay in the air, the helicopter, and crash landed approximately about a mile away. The second Chinook landed and took the injured and the people off the first helicopter that crash landed back to be checked out and took the casualties back. The rest of them assaulted the ridge in attempts to recover Robert's body. Leading the charge was a combat controller from the Air Force, one Tech Sergeant Chapman. The SEAL commander couldn't even keep up with Roberts, and his name was Zabalinsky, and he was later put in for a Silver Star, Medal of Honor, which was reduced to a Silver Star, as was Tech Sergeant Chapman. What ensued was a gunfight to try to recover the SEAL body of their fallen comrade. What ultimately resulted in a fatal gutshot wound to Chapman, and Zabalinsky left him after he was presumed dead. Upon the extraction, 3 hours later, off the mountain helicopter, there were 6 more members of that team perished as well. So we had 7 people die to try to recover 1. But if that was the end of the story, this story would have been amazing for the heroic acts of everybody involved. But it took a few years later that somebody found footage from an unmanned drone of the whole thing. And this incident is the only incident which is recorded where you can actually see the heroic act of a Medal of Honor winner. Now, I did say earlier that the 2 men were put in for a major award, and it was downgraded to a Silver Star. But once the footage from the Predator drone was seen, Chapman was immediately upgraded with this new evidence to be re-evaluated for the Medal of Honor. Not to be outdone, the Navy put Zabalinsky in for the same award, and he actually received his before Chapman did. Upon examination of acts that day, it is seen when Zabalinsky leaves Chapman, presumably dead, as they're trying to extract, Chapman gains consciousness and engages the Taliban from the mountain. In fact, probably saved the lives of many more men that would have perished on the mountain. So even though he was initially given up for dead for a gutshot wound, it was a bullet to the heart that finally stopped his heroic act that day. So what's this have to do with Division 2? It has to do with when poor planning, when running in and intelligence is poor, that creates a bad situation. We've been in heroic actions where people aren't prepared by not having the right build. Go to John Wayne running into the battle and die too quickly. And then the few that are left take the concentration of all that fire that is supposed to be meant for 4 people, and with 2 or 3 of them already dead, one can't fight back against all that firepower. So this is a lesson learned in this military time. And so back to Chapman. Not only did he get the Medal of Honor awarded to him, because his acts after he supposedly was dead the first time and saved the lives of the continual men, there is a push. There is an examination at this time to see if he will actually get awarded a second Medal of Honor on the same day, which is unprecedented. There have been 12 people that received the Medal of Honor twice. Those were all in the early stages back in the 1800s, but never in the modern history, and never for an act that happened in the same day or even the same battle. That would be unprecedented. But at this time, it kind of seems that it might be warranted. Patterson Museum in Ohio, there's a big display being about Tokugawa and what happened that night and the heroic deeds of Tech Sergeant Chapman and the rest of his team. Again, 7 men died to recover a person that was most likely could not have survived the fall out of the helicopter. So again, let's explore how this applies to tactics and strategy in Division 2. When you don't, as a teammate, go in with the right build, the right mentality, and the lack of communication, you put not only you, but your whole team in jeopardy of not being able to complete the mission. And we all know when you do heroic or legendary, one misstep will put you right back to the beginning all over again. So one of the best ways to be able to play this game is have a good build, great communications, work as a team. Don't be too much of a hero and think you're the only way that the team can win is on your back. Believe in your teammates, and through communication, get them to understand what it is you're trying to do and work as a unit and work as a team. You'll find out when you do a raid or legendary or heroic or even normal at the very beginning stages, that with planning and communication and knowing who you're going with, knowing the item you're going in, where they're going to spawn, what they're going to do, what the different types of NPCs are doing against you. Basically, as Sun Tzu says, know your enemy and know yourself. When you've done this, the outcome of the battle is all but certain in your favor. So when we take the time to push forward in an aggressive manner, but not so much that it puts us in jeopardy or puts the team's success of the mission in jeopardy, we can accomplish the mission each and every time. With the right build, the right strategy, the right techniques, we'll be able to move forward. And we won't even see that battle as something as memorable as Tokugawa Mountain or Robert's Ridge. When everything goes perfect, nobody is hurt, often the general public aren't even aware of that battle on the map. Is a lopsided victory that is in our favor, and the history books don't always record lopsided victories. The heroic acts of one person don't become the pages of the history book when the mission goes picture perfect. So in Division 2, we need to make sure that we are well prepared, use proper tactics, push forward when we have the advantage, retreat when we don't, heal and move on. These are tactics which seem common sense, but is the beginning of any victory. And with the communications and good prep, understanding of your knowledge, and understanding what you bring to the battle, with all this said and done, there's no way you can lose when all this on your side. So please remember Tech Sergeant Chapman and his heroic deeds, and the 7 other people that lost their life that day on Tokogar Mountain and Roberts Ridge. Remember the heroic acts of the other men to extract the casualties, recover the body, and hang on for 16 hours until they were able to be rescued. Remember the servicemen and women, even if they fought or did not fight in combat. And above all, let's remember the American worker that during World War II made the call and was able to crank out as much of military might in tanks, ships, equipment, so that the American fighting soldier could do his job anywhere. This is Bear Essentials with Bear Buyers. This is the first in the beginning of the month of June's Tactics and Strategy Guides. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button and please share with your friends.